The provincial R75 route, which connects Graf unit with the Gqeberha via Dispatch and Kariga, is a site of overgrown grass with broken traffic lights all over the road. The DA in the Eastern Cape has highlighted the poor state of the busy road during the oversight visit. For more on this conversation, we are now joined by Yusuf Cassim, who is the provincial DA chairperson. Yusuf, a pleasure to have you on the program this evening. Could you firstly provide us some insight into the specific impact of this deteriorating state of the road and condition of the R75, especially on trade and commerce within the Eastern Cape region, and particularly on farmers in the Sunday River Valley?
Good evening, Katlego, and good evening to your viewers. The R75 links not only Kariga and Gqeberha, but it also links Kirkwood, which is one of the valleys where we have farms that produce citrus for export and citrus for local domestic economic consumption. So this is a road that is absolutely critical to the economic development of our province. Given that Nelson Mandela Bay Metro contributes 50% of the provincial GDP, this is a road that is absolutely critical to that economic development. But this road, Katlego, is not only an economic imperative, it's also a social imperative, as it links communities that have been that are on the periphery of the metro to job opportunities and educational opportunities. So the safety aspect of the road not only affects the economy, but it also affects the lives of residents of our city.
Well, Mr. Cassim, I'll forgive you. You are in conversation with Ntlantla and not Katlego, but that's not the point.
Oh, my apologies.
Absolutely fine. So given this strategic importance of the R75, we did mention that it's a key trade route. What immediate actions does the DA then propose to address the maintenance and infrastructure challenges which are also highlighted during your oversight visit?
So maintenance is something that needs to be ongoing. Unfortunately, this hasn't happened over a period of time. Those that joined us on our oversight visit would have witnessed the strewn guardrails across the route. We've also concerned about the traffic lights that are not functioning, the overgrown grass, the road markings that are not in place. And we've been driving this issue over a period of time. My colleague Retief Odendaal, the former mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, has written to the CEO of Sanral. There's been an acknowledgement of receipt of that letter. We haven't received any substantive feedback in this respect, and we are now escalating the matter to Parliament. So I have referred the matter to our national spokesperson, Dr. Chris Hansinger, who is our spokesperson on roads and transport, and he will now be writing to the chairperson of the portfolio committee to request that the minister as well as Sanral is summoned to the committee to answer questions on these roads. It's not only the R75, there's also the R335 that links Motherwell and Addo. So these are key arterials that are under Sanral's competency, and we are determined to ensure that it is kept on the agenda now of Parliament so that maintenance takes place.
But then it also raises questions around the jurisdiction. How do you then plan to navigate the complexities of jurisdictional responsibility between the South African National Roads Agency and also the local municipality to really ensure effective and timely improvement on this key route?
So there is engagement that takes place in Ntlantla between local government and Sanral, the local regional structures of Sanral. Whilst we were in government in the past, there was engagement that took place at that level. There were commitments that were made that haven't been kept. In fact, the Metro then went as far as assuming some of the responsibility. One of the things that the Metro did was to cut the grass that was overgrown along this route, although this is a competency of Sanral. So what we need is intergovernmental relations to work, but unfortunately, if the regional structures are not able to keep to their mandate and fulfill that mandate, we need to ensure that we escalate the matter so that it is prioritized. So there is, these are national roads, and Sanral is responsible for ensuring that they are maintained, resealed, retarred where necessary, and ensure that it is in a safe and working order.
Mr. Cassim, there's also the issue of vandalism on the roadway. Could you elaborate on the extent of this vandalism and also its impact on the road safety and infrastructure maintenance as well?
So vandalism is a scourge, unfortunately, that is affecting different spheres of government. One of the occurrences that take place is you have the cables that are stolen that affect our traffic lights and our street lights. One of the things that we did when we were still in government in Nelson Mandela Bay, on a local government road, quite a busy road called Stanford Road, it links the entire northern areas of Nelson Mandela Bay, is we installed high mast solar lights to ensure that we can keep the road lit. Because what would happen is when you go and replace the cables, within 24 hours, vandals would go in and steal those cables, and it becomes unfeasible to keep doing that as you go along. So it's quite important in Tlantla that our government agencies and entities and different spheres of government that are responsible for different infrastructure across our city are able to find creative means in order to subvert these vandals.
So as the DA, you have announced plans to escalate the issue to Parliament due to the unsatisfactory response from Sanral. What outcomes or resolutions are you hoping to achieve through parliamentary intervention, and what specific steps will be taken to really pursue this course of action?
So there are parliamentary mechanisms that are available to us as the official opposition. We intend to utilize them and employ them to the fullest extent. We believe that this is an economic imperative that we must prioritize. And as I've mentioned earlier, one of those is to summon or request the summoning of Sanral and the Minister to the Portfolio Committee in order to discuss these roads. What we hope for in this respect is that the adequate budgets are put aside in order to ensure there is regular maintenance that is taking place. That isn't the case at the moment. What we are aware of is that one of the roads, the R335, has been earmarked for resealing. However, the maintenance imperatives that are necessary, the budget hasn't been made available for that to take place. What we've experienced is that amongst your national N2, for example, that affects us, there will be maintenance that takes place, but your R75, your R335 are neglected, and these routes, one would argue, have a greater impact on the lives of our residents.
So in response to Sanral's explanation regarding these interruptions to routine maintenance, what measures does the DA then propose to mitigate these challenges and also ensure a consistent upkeep of the R75?
So the first one in Tlantla, as I've mentioned, is to ensure that we budget appropriately for maintenance. There are other challenges involved. One of those would be, for example, interference from communities that might interfere with contractors that are employed in order to maintain or to undergo capital upgrades to these roads. And it is important that there is intergovernmental mechanisms so that the different spheres of government are able to work together and ensure that we can deal with these challenges. But beyond that, we must find creative ways to secure our infrastructure. CCTV cameras is one of those, and there was a contract in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro to ensure that there are CCTV cameras put up. That contract has been the subject of conflict in the past. Huge amounts of monies were paid over, and those haven't gone up. So one needs different spheres of government and agencies to work together to ensure that we can not only ensure that maintenance continues as it should, but also to ensure that we can work together to secure the infrastructure that our residents rely on.
Could you outline the potential economic repercussions for the Eastern Cape if the condition of the R75 continues to deteriorate unchecked, particularly in terms of trade, investment, and regional development as well?
So we are already under severe pressure due to load shedding, ailing infrastructure at our substations that cannot guarantee electricity beyond load shedding. We also have the problems around our ports. The port of Nuga, as an example, is one of the worst run ports in the world, or one of the most inefficient ports in the world. We cannot add to that strain. These roads, these national roads, are absolutely imperative to ensure that we can have economic activity flowing through. Our farmers are affected. most of our produce that comes out of the Sundays River Valley has to come through this road. There's absolutely no other way for the goods to flow in order to reach ports of exit, in order to access markets. So it affects our farmers, it affects other industries such as VW is one of the industries that is based in Kariga. It also affects ordinary residents that have to access work opportunities who are unable to do so, and it slows down the economy in that respect. So maintaining these roads have economic multipliers that will ensure that not only we experience economic growth, but that we have the job creation taking place for our residents to benefit from.
As we wrap up our conversation, Mr. Cassim, what collaborative efforts or even partnerships does the DA envision between the national, the provincial and local authorities to really address the long-standing issues plaguing the R75 and also ensuring sustainable improvement for the benefit of all stakeholders there?
So one of them that I've mentioned already in Klantla is to ensure that the different spheres of government work together to protect and to safeguard the infrastructure along the R75 and indeed the R335. The R335, as I've mentioned earlier, links Motherwell to Addo, and that is a road that has been routinely closed down, that has suffered from service delivery protests from communities. So it's important that spheres of government work together in order to deal with those issues so that we can safeguard our infrastructure. But beyond that, our number one goal in this respect and in the action steps that we are following is to ensure that the necessary maintenance budgets are put in place and that these roads are not put on the back burner. They are prioritized and that it is part of the priorities of Sanral working together with local government to ensure that the road is in a safe and working order.
I guess to crystallize the point, the question I want to ask is that looking ahead, what are the DA's long-term plans and strategies to not only address the immediate challenges facing the R75 and other routes, but also to prevent similar infrastructure neglect and deterioration in the future?
So there's only so much we can do in Klantla whilst we are not in government. When it comes to national roads, one would need to be in national government, and that is our hope after the next elections, in order to propel a multi-party government that the DA is a part of, that can ensure that we have efficiencies in our agencies like Sanral to be able to deliver on its mandate. Beyond that, in Klantla, we would need to ensure that as the official opposition, we are playing our role to hold the executive accountable so that our local industries, our residents, are not put at risk in the manner that they are currently put at risk.
Let me thank you for your time. That was Eastern Cape DA chairperson Yusuf Cassim giving us a sense of some of the infrastructure problems that are plaguing the R75 in the Eastern Cape.